Hey everybody, welcome back again to This Blessed Life. Yes, I'm in the same place, but baby's still sleeping, so I'm still multitasking. So, this is for the question and answer with my mom, and I may have answered some of these on the other video. We did that a couple weeks ago, and I can expand on it more. So, if you've already heard my answer to this, excuse me, pardon me, and then be sure to go ahead and watch my mom's video on answering these questions over on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. So somebody asked how it is, like, if it's hard for me being away from my family. And I kind of answered this in the one with Naomi on the sisters. It is definitely harder. I think especially for my mom. Not that I don't have a good relationship with the other people in my family, but I think me and my mom are kind of the closest ones. So it is difficult being away. For the first year, it wasn't as hard, but now that I've really settled into life and some of that newness has worn off, and it's the day-to-day mundane dealing with different things that come up in adult life, all of that stuff, and especially seeing, like, it's good to spend time with family, but since we live close to Waylon's family, we spend a lot of time with them, and sometimes it can just be like, we spend all this time with your family because they're here, but I don't get to see my family as much, so that can make it a little challenging. So yeah, it is hard on days, but we do talk a lot and do phone calls and all of those sorts of things, so that definitely helps. It is also different. Elisha is my littlest brother. You've probably seen him if you watch my parents' channel. He's 9 months old. Yeah, he's 9 months. And he doesn't really know me. So that is also a little challenging. When I go up there, I want to hold my little brother. And he doesn't like me because he doesn't know who I am. And I'm some scary person, I guess. So that is a little challenging because the kids always used to want me because I was the big sister and I was there. And he doesn't make that connection yet because he's still too little. So hopefully as he gets older, that will get better. What do I do the same and differently in parenting? Right now, since Justice is so young, we actually have a lot of the same beliefs when it comes to children in the baby stages. I think as he gets older, we don't have the same disabilities in our individual family as my parents have in their family. So there's definitely going to be different physical things that if he's able to do, he's going to be able to do those. And also some things about differently how Wayland was raised that he's going to want to incorporate. Like, the boys are probably going to be wrestling if we have more boys and that sort of thing, or him with his cousins. That sort of thing, those will probably look a little different. And then as kids get older, we have a lot more opportunities around here for young men to go out and get jobs where they don't have to be out in the main secular workforce. They can be working for a Christian. Justice is probably going to be working with Wayland when he gets older. I would be fine with him having a job at 15 or so if he's like still able to do what he needs to finish his schoolwork. If he wants to go out and work, I'm fine with that. So that'll look different, but some things are based on what we have available in our area, whereas my parents live in a much smaller area. There's a much smaller Christian community. Things like that. I'm sure my dad would love for Samuel to be able to go out and apprentice with another Christian man, but there's not as many to choose from around there, whereas if we wanted him to apprentice, Justice to apprentice a Christian man, we could find a Christian man in most of the trades, I would say, for him to go work under. So that's a difference in availability, even because of where we are. And who knows where we're going to be by the time Justice is that age, or what life is going to look like then. But these are just things that we can think of in the future, Lord willing. And then we may allow some... I would definitely want to have our kids very close in their younger years. As they reach their teenage years, they might be going out more with, like, if some of the men from church are going on a hike, we may send some of the older children to go on a hike with them, that sort of thing. There may be a little more there. So that's a few things that I can think of. We are still going to be doing family worship and training our children, homeschooling, those different things. We're definitely going to be on the same page on. So a couple people asked pretty much the same things on parenting. If there's decisions that I disagree on or do differently, and same indifferently in parenting. So, the last baby thing I asked my mom. I don't remember specifically the last one. I did write to her and say, how do you keep a 6-month-old alive? Or a 7-month-old, whatever I said. Because Justice wants to get into everything. He wants to eat everything. And I'm like, you don't understand no yet. So how do I keep you alive? You just want everything that you're not supposed to have. So yes, I did have to write that one. That was more of a joke, but yeah, that was one. Funny or particularly memorable calls that I have had to call my mom about. I don't think there's anything specifically funny right now, but I definitely have to keep calling her or texting her and being like, hey, what about this thing? What about this? At what point do I have to go to the doctor about this? At what point do all those different things? Yeah, it's definitely very challenging. Adjusting to motherhood in a way of being the one actually responsible for a whole nother human being. That's a lot of responsibility. And so Mommy's been very helpful in helping me answer those questions of those things that sometimes I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to do here? I don't remember. So that's definitely been helpful. I'm very thankful for that. Things I picked up from Mommy. Definitely the closeness with babies and like contact naps, wearing babies, not doing like the cried out method for sleep training, co-sleeping, nursing, exclusively nursing for a long period of time. I do let him try like some fruits and stuff which I don't think Elisha is trying that yet, but I'm not feeding him for nutrition. So that's definitely one thing that we would agree on, is not feeding for nutrition early on and nursing for a long period. Protecting from illness, boundaries around babies. We definitely are more in line with each other than a lot of other different theories and ideas. So there are definitely things that I picked up from my mom where I'm like, no, give me my baby back. You can, I want my baby. He's supposed to be with me and his daddy. And the rest of you, well, if you're family, you might get a turn. But yeah, we're a lot more like-minded on that sort of thing. We do let family hold the baby. My mom does too. The aunts and uncles get turns. Don't worry. We're not Nazis. But yeah, a lot of that, making our own medical decisions based on research and not just what everybody else is doing, just accepting it blindly, like really looking into things to see what's best. That would be another one that we definitely agree on, that I picked up from her, is just being wise and researching things. Spending a lot of time with the baby. That's another one. Justice does not, I mean, he spends a lot of his time on the floor, like playing in the room that I'm in or whatever. If I'm like washing dishes, that sort of thing. He does definitely have that time. But yeah, that's some of the things that we think the same. I don't know if there were really any other questions that I was supposed to answer. A couple people asked things that were answered on the YouTube. My mom or dad got on there and texted. Somebody was wondering, since my grandmother came and picked us up in Portland, if we didn't drive. We do drive. We have cars, but it just made more sense to fly to Portland and not have to rent a rental car. So grandma came and picked us up. We talked about not moving to Maine because of being settled here and the cold and all that. Sorry, I heard a noise. The heater was kicking on or something. So it's different things like that. But yeah, my mom and I are actually a lot alike. We do have some differences, but we're able to talk through those things and we have a good relationship. And I think a lot of that is just we talked a lot growing up. Um, Somebody asked about having some of the harder conversations with daughters and preparing them for marriage, like budgeting and going through extremely hard times and things like that. I think that was made easier just by not being awkward about it and just being open and discussing things that you may encounter in real life, and just not making it awkward, making it just an everyday thing of, hey, let's talk about this thing that you may have to deal with in the future. And thankfully, we haven't had to deal with a super tight budget, and God has blessed us. We know how to deal with that if we needed to, but we're not in that season right now. God has provided work and financial stability, so that's definitely a blessing for us. But yeah, there's a little bit of my stuff. I hope I'm not too rambly. And if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them down below and I will try to answer. And also leave questions for my mom over on her YouTube channel if you have questions for her. Herding little cows to the glory of God. And thank y'all for joining us. Be sure to check out my mom's video and we'll see you next time.